What's up, people? Jade up here with my WWE Capitol Punishment pay-per-view review video. Going to be giving you guys match results, highlights of the night, and also my thoughts and opinions on everything that occurred at this show. Make sure you rate this video thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click that subscribe button up there. Thanks. In the first match of the night, Dolph Ziggler defeats Kofi Kingston with an assist from Vicky Guerrero to become the new United States Champion. After some pretty solid back and forth fast-paced action, Kofi Kingston goes for the Trouble in Paradise, but Dolph ducks out of the way from that one. Then Dolph tries to go for the zigzag, but Kofi blocks that by holding on to the ropes. And at that point, that's when Vicky Guerrero intervened in the match. She raked Kofi Kingston's eyes, and that allowed Dolph Ziggler to lock in that sleeper hold. And after a couple of seconds, the ref calls for an end to the match and declares Dolph Ziggler to be the winner. They managed to pull off a good match in spite of all of the things working against them. Weak storyline, nearly obsolete championship belt, and both guys have weak characters also. Don't get me wrong, I'm big fans of Kofi and Dolph. I think they're great in ring, but as far as their characters go, they are kind of bland. I mean, let's look at what we're working with here. On one hand, we have the happy-go-lucky face, and on the other hand, we have the cocky heel. Two of the most overused characters in wrestling. Who are Dolph and Kofi besides that? Who are they besides that? I wish WWE would give them a chance to actually define themselves to me, and maybe even other people out there who feel the same way that I do. Because if they could have a good match in spite of all of the things that are going wrong for them, imagine, you know, how enhanced their talents would be if they were actually taken seriously. Second match of the night was Miz versus Alex Riley. I was surprised to see this match go on so early in the show, and I was even more shocked to see the winner of the match, Alex Riley, because I thought it was an open and shut case, so the Miz is going to win. No big deal, you know, no muss, no fuss, and turns out that didn't happen at all. Alex ends up winning with an execution-style DDT in what was a decent match. It wasn't bad at all, then again, it wasn't thrilling. I guess that's all I have to say about it. It was decent. Miz worked over Alex for a good portion of this match, and Alex actually showed some fire during his comeback that led to the win in the end. One thing that was missing from this match was the crowd. The best thing about Alex Riley turning face was listening to the great crowd responses he's been getting these last couple of weeks, but the crowd was a non-factor in this match, and to be honest, they were a non-factor for most of the rest of the night also. This match intrigued me mostly because I'm wondering now what happens with Riley and The Miz. A couple of weeks ago, I said I didn't know if WWE was really serious about this push with Alex Riley. Now with him getting a pay-per-view win over a former WWE champion, does this mean that they are serious? I would say yeah, it's seeming like it now. And then earlier on in the night, Miz asked the question, you know, what does this say about his career that now there's even a question as to whether he could defeat Alex Riley? But turns out there wasn't even a question, because hell, you couldn't defeat him. You lost. So does this mean that The Miz's career, is he going down the card, or is this the case of WWE just using him like Chris Jericho to the point where he can lose matches like this, but it really doesn't matter? I don't even know where the hell The Miz belongs in the grand scheme of things, and that, well, I know where he belongs. I'm just saying, I don't know where they think he belongs. He belongs at the top in my eyes, but, you know, hey, I'm not the one making the decisions. They are. So I'm wondering, where does he fit in the grand scheme of things? Like, I believe that they should have solidified his position more after his feud with John Cena before going into what he has going on right now with Alex Riley. Before he can, you know, rub some of his star power off on somebody else, he needs to solidify that star power, you know, on his own. So yeah, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Next up was Alberto Del Rio versus Big Show. Before the match even started, there was already drama. As Alberto was making his entrance, Big Show runs down the ramp and attacks him. Then they make their way in front of the announce tables, and Mark Henry comes out of nowhere. Then he starts to attack the Big Show, ends up hitting him with the World's Strongest Slam through the Spanish announce table. Then he started working on that injured leg of Big Show's that was ran over by the car a couple of weeks ago, but Big Show still picks himself up, gets into the ring, and competes in the match, but he was at a severe disadvantage straight from the gate. Del Rio, of course, focused on the injured leg for most of the match. I actually had somebody say to me before that they disliked how Del Rio just singles out one body part and works it over for most of the match, preparing it for a submission, because it limits his in-ring work. Like, it shortens the spectrum of what he's able to accomplish in a match. But I, however, like that kind of cerebral offense, and it actually greatly benefited him at Capitol Punishment because he ended up getting the win in the end based off of a submission on the Big Show's leg. He ends up locking in his cross arm breaker on Big Show's leg, so I guess that would make it a cross leg breaker. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, he ends up locking that in, but the Big Show gets to the ropes, but the Big Show could not return to his feet, so the ref is forced to call off the match, declaring Alberto Del Rio the winner. I liked Alberto Del Rio's planned attack mode. I also liked the storyline going into this match, therefore I enjoyed the match itself. The Intercontinental Championship match was up next. Ezekiel Jackson versus the champion Wade Barrett. This match did exceed my expectations, but I have to say my expectations were low as hell in the first place, so that isn't saying much, but both guys did play their roles well in this match. We all know Zeke is limited in what he can do from an offensive and defensive perspective, but somehow, there's some way they found a way for this match not to be boring as hell, and just in case, I had the Easy Mac ready to go, sitting off to the side. It was on deck, and I was ready to dig into it if I needed to, but I did not need to during this match, so hey, take that for what it's worth. As far as the match itself goes, Wade got some good offense in during the match, but Zeke, he got that momentum on his side. He started to go for those series of body slams. Then he gets Wade into the torture rack. Wade taps out, and there you go. We have a new Intercontinental Champion in Ezekiel Jackson. So what does this mean for the IC title over on SmackDown? Will the IC title rise back to glory? Because it's definitely in need of some rebuilding, and Zeke could be a very big, powerful, and dominant champion, but it remains to be seen as to what route WWE goes with Big Zeke as the IC champion over on SmackDown. Now this is where the show really gets started. CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio in a great match with a lot of false finishes and counters, and basically both guys performing nearly at their best. You have Rey Mysterio, high risk, high reward, highly entertaining aerial offense, and also CM Punk with his sinister technical prowess. You put all of that together with some great chemistry and you get an excellent match from start to finish. Speaking of the finish of this match, it came where CM Punk had Rey Mysterio in position for the GTS. Rey Mysterio, he ends up countering that with an arm drag, and that arm drag places CM Punk right into position to be hit by the 619. So Rey goes for the 619, but CM Punk counters. He grabs his legs, puts him into position for another GTS. This time he hits it, pins him 1-2-3, match over and done with. With this win, CM Punk has broken a 13-month pay-per-view losing streak. The last time he won a pay-per-view match was at Extreme Rules 2010, and it was versus Rey Mysterio that time also. But this match, absolutely amazing. If you have not seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's one of the best matches that I've seen this year. It had a lot of other great moments, including the finish of the match. There was one point where Rey Mysterio went for a springboard moonsault onto CM Punk, who was waiting outside of the ring, and also there was another point where Rey was running along the ring apron and did a seated senton onto CM Punk, who was outside of the ring again, but this time the move didn't work because CM Punk vaulted Rey over his head. He crashed down behind him onto the security barricade, and there were a lot of other great moments. Like I said, highly recommend this match if you did not see it. And yeah, like I said, this breaks a 13-month pay-per-view losing streak for CM Punk. What happens now? Where does CM Punk go now in WWE? Does this win mean anything? I noticed that the announcers, they did mention that recently CM Punk, he has a win over the current WWE champion. Also, you have to take into account Punk, he cut a promo earlier in the night, and he said something about how he was going to do the most honest thing possible after he defeats Rey Mysterio, and also take into account that WWE's next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, is in CM Punk's hometown. So you have CM Punk win over the WWE champion, CM Punk, this big mystery, he's supposed to be doing something big, and then the next pay-per-view in his hometown. So does all of this relate to each other? Is it connected, or am I just speculating like hell? Who knows, but I guess we have to wait around and see. But if I'm right, of course I'm going to rub it all in your faces. And if I'm wrong, we'll just move on and never mention this again. Next matchup was a World Heavyweight Championship match, Christian versus the champ, Randy Orton. I've been loving this feud, and they put another great match in the books at Capitol Punishment. The dynamic was different this time around with Christian being a heel, but the result was still the same with Randy Orton getting the win in the end by way of RKO. Christian got a couple of near falls in during the match, such as the one he got after he hit Orton with a spear, but to no avail. So now where do we go in this feud? Does the whole thing end, or do we move on to a new chapter? The announcers did mention after the match was over with that Christian should move to the back of the pack now that he's lost to Orton 3 times in a row, but the match did end in a little bit of controversy with Christian believing that his leg was under the ropes during the 3 count, therefore that decision shouldn't have been made. But here we have another world title match ending in controversy, and guess, just guess, who the referee is. That punk-ass bastard, Mike Chioda. Here he goes, screwing more people out of world championships. First it was Miz, now it's Christian. He just has fun screwing with my favorites. But yeah, say if that was Miz in Randy Orton's position, and if that was John Cena in Christian's position, we would have had hell breaking loose. It would have been a big fucking investigation right on the spot. We would have had evidence, video replays, the decision would have been reversed, and then, you know, hey, you know, but in this case, no decision reversed. Randy Orton gets to keep his world championship, but yeah, let's put that bastard Mike Chioda on the side for a little bit. Let's go back to talking about this match. It was an entertaining match. I really enjoyed the work from both guys in this match. Like I said, it was great, and Christian, he's one of my favorites in WWE, one of my favorite wrestlers all time. Randy Orton, he used to be on my favorites list, but he's sunk really low down that list, but he's starting to work his way back up. Ever since that feud with CM Punk earlier in the year, he's been putting on some pretty good matches, good to great matches, and I've been really enjoying Randy Orton. I haven't felt the need to call him Randy Snorton anytime, you know, lately, and yeah, I know I've said some pretty interesting things. Well, I'm not even going to put it like that. I've gone the hell off on Randy Orton many times before in the past, and I'm pretty sure you guys remember some of the moments, like when I said that he was no longer a Viper, he was a garden snake, you know, things like that. But that's all in the past. You know, Randy Orton, he's redeeming himself, so yeah. The last match before the main event of Capitol Punishment was Jack Swagger versus Evan Bourne. Both guys had great showings in this match. Jack Swagger was dominating most of the offense in this match by utilizing that amateur background style that he has. And Evan Bourne, he was basically playing the role of the underdog, and he hit a tornado DDT on Jack Swagger, and at that point all of the momentum swung into his corner and carried him into a win in the end. There was a point in the match where Jack tried to go for a ankle lock on Evan Bourne, but Evan Bourne countered that, rolled up Jack Swagger into a pin. 1, 2, 3, match over and done with. Evan Bourne is your winner. It was an entertaining match. I enjoyed it, and that's basically all I have to say about it. The main event of Capitol Punishment was a WWE Championship match, John Cena versus R-Truth. This was basically a typical John Cena match. He gets his ass whooped for 99.9% of the match. Then all of a sudden he gets this big burst of strength towards the end, and all of a sudden, bam, there you go, John Cena victorious in the end. We all know how the story goes at this point. During the match, there were some very awkward points when R-Truth was on offense. The camera would cut to his face, and he would have this very blank and stupid ass look on his face, and it added up to some very awkward moments during the match. I don't know if that was intentional and it played into his mentally crazed gimmick, or he just didn't know what the hell he was doing. But whatever it was, I just know I didn't like it. And the ending of the match came where R-Truth, he hit his shut up finisher on John Cena. He goes out of the ring and goes over to this fan in John Cena merchandise. So I guess that was Little Jimmy. He goes to get a drink of Little Jimmy's beverage, and he gives the cup back to Little Jimmy, and then all of a sudden Little Jimmy throws the water in R-Truth's face, and then all of a sudden John Cena pops up with this speed and strength out of nowhere, grabs R-Truth, throws him back in the ring, hits him with the attitude adjustment, pins him. 1, 2, 3, John Cena retains the WWE Championship. To be completely honest, I believe Little Jimmy got more offense on R-Truth than John Cena did. Like, to be completely fucking honest. And I did not like this match at all. I didn't feel that it was worthy of being a pay-per-view world title match. I don't feel like it was worthy of being a world title match at all, and damn sure not the main event of a pay-per-view. Like, I felt for some reason that Christian versus Randy Orton should have gone last on this show, and it was the best storyline going into the show, and it, you know, altogether, I just felt that that one should have gone on last. Overall, I would give Capitol Punishment a passing grade. It was definitely better than some of WWE's recent pay-per-views. I wish they would have had some stronger storylines and build-up going into some of these matches. That would allow me to be more into the action, because, you know, wrestling matters, but promos and storylines do too. But they still put on a pretty solid show that I enjoyed. I actually enjoyed bits of every single match except for the main event, John Cena versus R-Truth, which I believe was the worst match on the show. Let me know what you guys think. What did you think was the worst match? What were your favorite matches? My favorite match happens to be CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio, with Randy Orton versus Christian at a close second. So let me know what you guys thought about Capitol Punishment. What do you think the fallout is going to be? Is R-Truth one and done? Does he get just one world title match and then he goes down the card to wherever he belongs? What about Christian over on SmackDown? He's lost 3 times to Randy Orton. What happens with him now? If they move out of the way, who steps up and takes their place? Let me know down in the comments. I am J-Dub. Peace out. The best one, I would definitely have to say CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio. And speaking of CM Punk, let me guys know. Oh shit, this is going in the bloopers. The last match before the main event was Capitol Punishment. What the hell did I just say? I don't even know. Wow. Peace out. Yes! Finally! Finally! It's done!